What's up, guys? Hello. I can't wait. I couldn't hear Trent for a second.
I was muted.
Okay. All right. So, welcome to the weekly Geekly podcast roundup. I'm going to abbreviate it from now on. So, that's what we're going to do moving forward. I am joined by two people that you saw last week. We decided to do another version of this with so they're back. We have Syberninja here to my left.
Hello. How's it going, everybody? I didn't think I'd be back this soon, but I'm glad I am. Missed you guys.
And we have Omega Weltall here as well. And we have some fun topics today, trying to sort of distract everybody from all the craziness that's going on right now. So hopefully we succeed in that by having some interesting conversations here. So very quickly, if you guys have any questions about where to find these two guys, it's going to be down in the info box of the YouTube video. We will also announce all their stuff at the end like we did last time in case you're interested. So make sure you guys stick around for that. Also, if you're watching this on Twitch, I believe both Syberninja and Omega, they're going to be hosting the show as well. So you can see it on their channels as well. We're trying to update everything and make it sort of work for everybody. So yeah, how's everybody doing? Start out. What have you been up to, Cyber? What's your week been like?
So far I have been to physical therapy, multiple doctors. That's a whole nother thing. But we've been streaming over at Twitch. We've been playing Phasmophobia and Fortnite. Fortnite just did a Marvel Knockout tournament for the Ghost Rider skin, which is fire. No pun intended.
Literally.
I've seen this good. Right.
We got to the tournament late. You can play up to 10 games and accumulate as many points as possible. We didn't get there for at least an hour to get our team together. And by the time the tournament ended, we had only played 4 games. We were 45 points in, but to get the skin, you had to be in the top 500, which was at 100 points. So had we got to finish it out, I was confident we were going to get, top 500 easy. But It was still fun. It was enjoyable. And the Ghost Rider skin might even be available tonight. I don't know. But looks good. Can't wait.
What about you, Omega? What has your exciting week been like on the internet?
I just got finished watching The Mandalorian season 1, episode 8. So I got to watch the first episode of season 2. I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of Doom Eternal, the new DLC for that, and a lot of Phantasy Star Online too.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I have been playing a lot of surprise Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, you still on that?
Yeah, I still play every single day. They've got a new expansion. You should join. You should resubscribe and jump on and play once in a while.
I just kept complaining about everyone every time I joined that game. I was like, "Oh my god, the stupid cat tank! If he doesn't stop, if his hit points don't go from 100 to 20 within 1 second,
right?
I might.
I actually am playing that, and I'm also playing a mobile game, but I know that's horrible. People, pay to win. I'm playing Marvel Strike Force as usual. They just released a couple of new characters this week. Dr. Doom is coming to the game, and Cassie Stature, Ant-Man's daughter, is coming to the game. So I don't know. I like the game, but it's one of those it kind of wants you to spend money. But I mean, that's the nature of the beast. I mean, everybody wants microtransactions, but I believe microtransactions are now macro transactions. I believe they're too expensive. So that brings us to our first topic for today. We're going to be talking about the Miles Morales Spider-Man game, which I believe it comes out a week from today. Is that correct? A week from now?
I believe it's launch day of PlayStation 5. I think it is launch day.
Okay. So yeah, everybody seems to be really excited about that. We've seen some cool shots of the new suits and things like that. You got the high-tech suit. I believe they're going to do the suit from Into the Spider-Verse, which is going to be coming out as well.
They are, and they actually they dropped it down to 12 frames a second, like the movie was filmed in.
Well,
so it looks
frames a second.
Is it 24?
Yes,
it looks amazing, though. It looks absolutely amazing.
So, what are your expectations? You guys you're into games a lot more than I am, obviously, being over at Twitch and everything. What are your expectations for this game? Are you hoping for a really long story? Because I know this is not going to be the same as the other Spider-Man game in terms of the content and everything. So, what do you hope to get out of this? What is your ideal playtime on this? How many hours are you hoping from this game? What are you thinking?
Well, I haven't actually played the first one, but I hear it's amazing. With this one, I'm kind of just expecting what they did with the Doom Eternal DLC. Basically, it's just some extra stuff. It may last an extra 5, maybe 10 hours if we're lucky. I think it's just some extra stuff here and there. Nothing too fancy, but what's there might be really, really good.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, right? So the first Spider-Man game was a masterpiece. I platinumed it. I enjoyed playing it. But the game itself, the story was actually pretty long, but it was very well thought out. Amazing story. I hope they keep that team, I didn't look up to see who wrote the Miles story, but that team did such a fantastic job with the reimagining of the villains, the characters, the overall story, and making it feel like it's its own, but also giving you all the costumes from every other Spider-Man iteration that you can think of. With the Miles story, for me, I just want them to really focus on what makes him unique and his story unique. But his villains were a little bit different. I don't know if they're just going to incorporate them or just continue the story, because it is the Miles from the other Spider-Man game. I'm actually super hyped. It is going to be short. It's not as long as the first game. Yeah. And I think that's because if they're using the original Spider-Man's content, it's kind of hard to give Miles his own set of story unless they're all built in that world. So I think it's going to be a great game. It is going to be short. The original Spider-Man game had a ton of side quests that were unfortunately beyond repetitive. I mean,
really
beyond repetitive.
Yeah, I heard that as a criticism. I didn't play it. I didn't platinum it, so I didn't do everything, but I did play.
I did, so. and at the end, it did feel like a chore, but I still finished it because the gameplay was so fun. If they have, from what I've seen, the dynamic of Miles' play is so different than Peter Parker. I think it's gonna do well. I'm actually super looking forward to it. I'm going to get it. I will probably stream it over on Twitch. It just depends on time permitting and if it falls in line with the other games I'm playing at the time. I think it's gonna be a fantastic game. I'm certainly gonna play it, and I'm super excited for it. And once I unlock the Spider-Verse costume, I'm not gonna play any other costume.
So what do you got to say?
I was gonna say, like, I really hope this game gives me a reason to actually turn this thing on, because I went over a friend's house to, play Mortal Kombat 11. I never plugged it back in because I just don't play this thing.
Yeah, I actually use mine for a lot. I play primarily on that as well. I know it's like, PC Master Race. I get it. I have two computers to play games on, but I really enjoy the ease of using that system as well, and I totally understand. So here's the thing. This is, I guess, it's a legitimate question. If you're a fan of comic books, you've known about Miles Morales for a really long time. I mean, he's a character ever since he's been released. I knew who he was, and I understood his story and everything. And he became a pretty big character in the comics. Do you think the hype surrounding the Into the Spider-Verse movie has affected the hype for this game? Do you think this game would have been as hyped if that movie hadn't been a success? Any thoughts on that?
So I think the movie helped. Yes. And I think it helped in the right way. Comic books are already a niche audience. Even everybody now, that even if you're in here or if you've read comics, even though it's a mainstream thing, you still, even if you go to comic stores, not now because of pandemic, but it wasn't like they were packed full.
Right.
So the character of Miles Morales, a lot of people didn't know about, and Into the Spider-Verse was such it's the best Spider-Man film, period.
Right. And
it was so well done that will make this game successful because of that, because they're purchasing it on the notion of the character they saw. I think comic book fans would have bought this game either way, but its success from the movie has definitely brought it to light, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I think that's good, and I want to see more Miles. I thought I wanted a live action Miles, and I still do, but Into the Spider-Verse is so perfect.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's really hard to look at that movie and how it would have been done in live action. Honestly, I don't know. I know they could have done it, but then like Spider Pig and characters like that, how would you have done?
They couldn't have done Spider-Verse live action, but if they just did a single Miles Morales movie, sure.
Well, I would say if they would have done the Spider-Verse, we wouldn't have seen the variety of Spider-Man that we had in that film. It would have been less.
I will say this, on the PlayStation game, you're going to get a more grounded Miles. You're not getting a Spider-Verse, to my knowledge. Because of this, you're going to see more of. That's why I said I want them to really delve into his story.
Right.
Because while the movie was his origin story, they had so many other stories that, of course, they sped up. But in general, I want this to be focused on him and his how he deals with being Spider-Man. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait. Yeah.
So Geek Information here, Team Eric member, thank you so much, with a $4.99 super chat. He says, I love the new version of the Tinkerer, the gender swap one. So that's the character in the purple armor. I think the leader of the group of people in the purple armor is the Tinkerer. Let me see if I can find a picture here. Yeah, I believe. Click there. So randomness. Let me see. Share screen. Where is it at? Here we go. So this is the design that he's talking about. This
that's a pretty dope design
here. I love it. I think so. Here's the thing, and this is the beauty of like more advanced gaming technology. You can make lighting look so real. And honestly, so many games in the past, like even Final Fantasy 14, the game that I play now, the previous versions of it, lighting is something that we see all the time in the real world, and we don't think much about it.
Not at all.
But in a game, it's so important for it to look right.
Especially me, where I deal with a lot of 3D stuff, and especially with ray tracing. That's been a thing in, like high-end, high-poly 3D rendering for like the past 10 years. It's just that it takes almost an hour for that stuff to go through, but now that hardware's up to the point that where it could do some pretty quick and dirty ray tracing. That little bit of ray tracing that it could do makes it look so much better.
Yeah, lighting is just it's crazy. It's one of those things, and also the color spectrum that you get in games now with like the neons and the almost like nightclub looking lighting on suits and things. Like I would not be surprised, and I've thought about this before, that within the next few years we see more like traditional clothing come with LEDs, because we've seen it in masks, we've seen it in hats, we've seen it even on shirts now. But I think designers are going to start to go out a bit more and start putting these like LED lighting on regular clothing.
I want full-on cyberpunk and Shadowrun type style clothing.
As soon as you said that, it made me think about the delay of that game.
I know. It's supposed to come out like next week, but it's going to be next month. I took off work for that.
It's the biggest problem with that game. A lot of people took off work, and now because they pushed it back at the last second, people can't get their vacations back, and people that already took vacations around Christmas time, that means their vacation is locked out.
And which means when the game does get released, they're not going to have vacation time to.
I'm sore on that subject, but at the same time,
I get it.
It's a double-edged sword. Well, just in general, there's so much pressure in the video game market to get games out, and so they're actually pushed to put dates out there. And I think a lot of games right now,
sometimes unrealistic dates.
Yeah, and I think a lot of games right now get away with that because they put a game in early access, and then you could still play the game, but it's not officially out.
There's some games that are still in early access. They've been out forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, Fortnite was in early access until like 3 months ago, and that game's 3 years old. Yeah. So they get away with it, and this game did not go early access, thankfully. So just gotta be patient. It's coming. Yeah. I just feel bad for the people that took off work.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we're going to segue into the next topic, which is, let's talk a bit about the Spider-Man movies and like the Sony verse and the Venom verse and all of that. So we know that Spider-Man 3 is filming right now in Atlanta. We've already that's been confirmed. And there's been rumors now that the title of that film is going to be Welcome Home. This hasn't been confirmed, but if you remember correctly, a lot of the titles for the Spider-Man movies have been accurate. Like they've thrown out a few, and usually one in that group is accurate. Welcome Home, and they're saying that it is confirming that we're going to get this big, massive like Spider-Verse in live action. And what are the chances of us like seeing Miles Morales in the live action movie? I mean, that would be the perfect chance to introduce that character. But the problem is we have sort of, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, we have like an unestablished MCU Peter Parker. I mean, I feel like even now, as many times as we've seen him, he's still a very green superhero. He's still like very new
in terms of being Spider-Man.
Yeah. So introducing Miles into the MCU now would be like, what is he going to be, 5? I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but
I don't want him introduced that way though, because again, I want him to have his own story. If he comes in this game, in this movie, he would have to already be established. I don't want him to be established.
And by the time, I would like to see an origin story. It wasn't in the comics by the time Miles Morales came around, Peter Parker was like almost 30.
Yeah.
If I'm not older.
And that's the thing, is that there was a passing of the torch, and it was like a more modern take on Spider-Man. And I think the issue we have here is we Sony and Marvel worked out the deal to get Peter Parker so late in the game for the MCU that had Spider-Man been there from the beginning, like with Tony Stark in that first phase, I think we could say, oh, you know what, it's time to pass the torch. But I mean, is it really? I mean, we just got him back into Marvel continuity, and so I don't know. And some people are saying, well, we could still just have a Miles, as part of the Spider-Man storyline in the MCU. And I mean, I guess we could, but look, I'll be honest. Right now, Sony and Marvel would be absolutely crazy in the current climate to not want to continue to work together. I think them working together right
absolutely.
now. So I think rushing Miles Morales in at this point is kind of pointless. Plus, we're getting a Spider-Verse 2 animated movie, which I think is going to be great. And so I don't know if there's any reason to rush that. What about the idea of the Peter Parkers coming back? Like, the one from Amazing Spider-Man and the one back from the Sam Raimi movies. I mean, do you want to see something like that? Do you want to see all of them? Because my biggest fear is they're going to come in, they're going to throw them a bone and give them a cameo, and we're not going to get anything of any substance. Like, is that going to even be good? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Just the only thing I'm waiting for the only thing I'm wanting, for the second Spider-Man movie is I want Japanese Spider-Man and Leopardon. I want the giant mech.
Oh yeah. I was going to say you want the mech.
I'm really surprised they didn't include that in the animated movie.
Yeah, I was expecting Leopardon to just come down, and then Japanese Spider-Man comes out and all.
Anything from you, Cyber? Anything you want to add to that? I mean, what are your expectations for this multiverse Spider-Man film? If this is in fact what's happening,
if they go this route, if they're going to bring in the other Spider-Man from the other films, and they are bringing in the multiverse, there's part of me that doesn't want them to do it. Like, this to me is saying they are running out of. They don't have an idea for a standalone Spider-Man film, that he needs more substance.
Because let's look at the previous films. Like, he's not had a movie by himself yet. Truly. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. You're telling me that he can't hold a movie on his own?
I mean, I guess you could count Homecoming as that, but it still had like bits of the MCU in that film. I mean, like, the storyline revolved around.
Yeah, I just feel like once you start making every film feel like an Avengers, then the Avengers films get watered down and they don't mean as much.
Yeah. We really haven't had a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie. I mean, we just haven't had that.
And I feel like too that once you start adding the other franchises in there, it's like, I know that opens the door for a lot of possibilities, but that also opens up the door for them to retcon so much stuff that's already happened in the MCU. They could just write something off. Oh, this person's dead? Don't worry. We got another one over here.
And the crazy thing is, like, people say that, like, Impulse Gaming said Spider-Man is becoming Batman. I agree with that. And the crazy thing is, Spider-Man, out of all of the Marvel characters, he's probably one of my favorite characters. I mean, I have a big thing, big like sticker over here of him on the wall. He's one of my favorite characters from the Marvel universe because he is so versatile. But in the same way, he is Batman. But you know what? 20 years ago, Wolverine was Batman. Everything was Wolverine. Yeah. I mean, the torch gets passed around all the time. I think the thing is, Spider-Man, and this is something people just have to understand, he is literally, and it's not even close, he is the most money-making superhero in the world by far. I mean, we're talking the next closest one to him is still like billions of dollars away. Yeah. So we're talking about a character that is marketable all over the world. The reason why is he's so accessible. Like, you can literally make anything Spider-Man. And I think that's why we see Batman getting transformed in everything, because DC's like, we have this character that can be everything and anything we want him to be. And so it makes him accessible. The same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so
it's like I always say, like, the three icons of comics is usually, well, I would say Superman first, but that's starting to go away. It's Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, and they're the three most profitable.
I would say another one that's beyond popular that can do whatever they want is Deadpool.
Yes.
He's for kids, not so much. Yeah. I'm not talking in terms of money, just popularity wise.
Yeah,
this dude could literally he could literally wear and do anything, and they would just be like, it's Deadpool.
So Laura here says, do you think Miles could be from another Earth? Well, that's the thing, is I think if they're going to introduce him in the next Spider-Man movie through the multiverse, he would definitely be from another Earth. But then the problem with that is there's no substance to his character. That's my issue with it is we are just getting to know Miles as a character. And I think Into the Spider-Verse shows that there's a market for another Spider-Man. There's a market for another version of this character. People are ready for that. And I think that's great. But I think in the MCU, I think the problem is if you introduce him in that way, he doesn't get the story that he deserves. And
and that's what I agree with as well.
So
I want him to have his own film. I don't want him to be a cameo.
Yeah. So Geek Information here, once again supporting the channel with the $4.99 super chat. He goes, to counter that, in the Disney XD series, Miles, Peter, Gwen are all in high school together and all Spider people working as a team. It can work. Yes, it absolutely could. But but Miles would have had to been introduced back when we met Peter. Like, I feel like introducing him now, you're not giving him that opportunity.
Yeah, it would be awkward, but it could still work if they can write it well.
Right.
Here's what I would like. Okay. Yeah, let's just throw theory out there, right? Peter Parker in the MCU was gone for 5 years.
Yep.
Had to come back to the same exact grade that he was when he was snapped. Mm-hmm. All of his friends moved up and aged, which is so. Think about. Okay, I'm not going too far into this, guys, because I'll get triggered. All their ages went up 5 years, except for him. So in theory, yes, Miles and Gwen could be in high school with him when he comes back to this next film, and it could work. That actually could work, and I wouldn't be upset with that. But then you would still have to take away a portion of the film to explain those two.
Right.
They're not getting a standalone film. I don't want cameos. I want him to have his own film, get the like Spider-Verse, and just get the he deserves that. He doesn't deserve to be put as a sidekick.
Right.
He is, like, I know Peter Parker was his mentor. That's fine. Put Peter Parker in his film. Don't put him in Peter's.
Sort of like they did with Iron Man in Spider-Man's film, and not the other way around.
Give him his own film. But the Spider-Verse film, I don't need a live action. But if you're going to do a live action, give him his own film.
I will say it seems kind of weird to me that we're doing a Spider-Verse movie in live action after the success of the animated movie. Like, it just feels strange to me. And I don't know if this is Sony's pushing it or if it's the MCU that's pushing it, like Kevin Feige, or how that's working. But it just seems odd to me when we had such a successful Spider-Verse animated movie. All of a sudden now the third Spider-Man movie is Spider-Verse.
It's going to be Spider-Verse. I love that film, man. I watch it so much. It's such a good movie.
So
I was watching with you and your wife at when we were at DragonCon 2019.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
So completely off topic, but I just want to throw this out there. Bad Reviews, $2.
We're off the rails here. Let's just do whatever.
I finally started playing Witcher 2.
I still haven't. I'm like 9 hours into Witcher 3. And I bought it like almost a year ago for like $10.
Funny thing though, that game still holds up.
Witcher 3 is so good, and there's so much side content. And the thing is, the Witcher side content doesn't feel like side content, and that's what side content is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you storyline that doesn't necessarily progress the characters, but it's still meaningful in building the world. That's what you want. You don't want to be like go snatch a bag of burgers and bring it back to me. Like that's not the kind of storyline you want.
Right.
So Canada Graphs saying hello Canada Graphs, and
hey, what's up, Canada Graphs?
Amethyst saying hello as well. Thank you so much. So I guess we'll segue into our final, Spider-Man topic as we're coming up on the halfway point here. So Sony is trying its best to, I guess, milk the success of Venom, which came out of nowhere. I think a lot of people probably didn't expect Venom to do so well, I guess. Well, I guess we should talk about that film briefly as we get into this. But they've announced a lot of separate movies within the Spider-Man or Venomverse, as they want to call it, with the Sony titles and whatnot. That's kind of faded a bit. The idea of that separate world, because we know the Morbius movie is still out there, but the idea of the Spider-Man world is kind of faded a bit, because I do believe that Sony, with this third Spider-Man movie, at least with the idea of the multiverse, they want to combine these properties and make this deal even bigger between them and Marvel, which actually makes the most sense if you think about it. The next rumored film, and I want to completely stress this, right? This is coming from very unreliable sources on the web, but I just want to talk about this because we
got this covered.
No, I don't even know if it's that legitimate. I didn't know that.
Wow.
They supposedly want to do a Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen movie, and Emma Stone as this character, and
nope.
There's no way.
What is Emma Stone? Emma Stone.
She was Gwen Stacy in the second iteration of Spider-Man.
Right, but they want to bring her back, I guess, as a
no.
Is this something we want to see? We want to see?
No.
I'm looking at pictures. I see why they would go to her.
No, don't look at pictures.
I see why. It's over. But no.
She didn't. She's not a bad actress. Okay, Emma Stone, great actress. No,
I don't see her as Gwen Stacy now. I see why they're going this direction. But
they need to find. Here's the thing: we talked about this earlier with Miles. If you're going to do a Gwen Stacy movie, she needs to be around the same age as Peter Parker.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in that case, you're looking to what, like a Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones?
I was just thinking of her, but
right. You're thinking about her.
Really.
What do you mean you ain't got to look? Look don't matter. It's acting, my friend. Look, what about Catherine McNamara?
Who's that?
She played female Arrow. Yeah. Arrow's daughter. Was it Mia? She was Mia.
No comment on that. I mean, she definitely could look like.
What are you talking about?
Stacey,
Didn't you text me saying you wanted her to be?
No, that's
Gwen
absolutely
Stacy?
not what I say. Look, I will say this: people say
you texted me and you were like, "She's the greatest actress to play Arrow."
Yes, I just looked her up. Yes, she could play Gwen Stacy.
So here's the thing, though: she was on a show called Shadowhunters, which I never watched, and supposedly everybody loved her on that. I don't know if I want to see her in a Spider-Gwen suit, though. So the thing is, though, do you think? Based on what we have right now, because Sony
Jeff Cameron's a good one. I saw that in chat.
Should we be focusing on a Spider-Gwen movie, or is this something we can wait on? I mean, do you think
we don't need a Spider-Gwen movie?
What do you think?
We don't need
Omega?
I'd be interested. I'll watch it if they come out with it, but do I really like? Oh my God, Gwen Stacy? Meh.
I think it needs to feel right, and I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm just somebody that watches films, guys. I would go see it, but at the moment they are focusing with Captain Marvel, Black Widow, even with Wonder Woman. There's so many characters, in my opinion. I love Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen, but I think that story is just not. It's not mainstream enough, I think, to get its own film. That's just me personally.
Well, I know that, and also I know that the animated movie, the second Miles movie, she's going to be heavily involved with that, and I believe she's getting a spinoff film as well, like animated film. So I don't know why we'd rush a live action one with her. Same as like rushing with Miles. I want to see them in the films, in the live action films, but I also want their animated films to do well. And I feel like if you split that up, there's going to be less investment in that animated side. That's just my thoughts on it. But we'd have to see. Double Crit here with the $5 super chat and a member of Team Eric. Thank you so much. He goes, the live action Spider multiverse is most likely a business decision made to counter the Flashpoint movie. At least that's my theory. We're going to be talking about Flash here on this live stream in a bit. But this is one of the running theories that the Spider-Man movie and bringing back Michael Keaton bringing back, not Michael Keaton, he's coming back as Vulture, but the Flash movie bringing back Michael Keaton. So the idea to bring back in like Tobey Maguire and all the other characters from the previous Spider-Man movies is an answer to that Marvel is concerned about that. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So real quick, I want to make this as abundantly clear as possible, right? In the terms of live action films, DC does not scare Marvel.
Right.
Right. I mean, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's literally DC could say they're doing the greatest film ever, and Marvel's going to put out the worst film ever, and it's going to double their box office. I'm not saying that because I dislike DC. I'm saying it based off of facts, right?
Yeah.
This movie, Flashpoint has not come out. Right. They've been talking about it for years. Do you think they're going to bring out Spider-Verse to counteract that? No offense, Double Crit. I think that question is awesome. But the theory for me is that they set trends, right? I think if anything, DC's scared of Marvel, and they're doing this because they want to try and justify the mistakes they've already made. I think if Marvel did do this based on your theory, Crit, if they did do this based on your theory, I think that they would make it rushed. It wouldn't make sense, and it would come out like a DC film. Now, to Double Crit's theory, Sony is doing this, not Marvel, right?
Right.
So you could be 100% correct. And your theory could very well be accurate, but I don't feel like Marvel should feel threatened by a franchise that has not even put a dent in their worst film.
Okay,
I don't think it.
Any
happened.
thoughts, Omega, on that?
No, I pretty much probably just parroted his points. Yeah, I was like, I love
in animation.
Yeah,
keep in mind in animation, outside of the Spider-Verse film.
Yeah.
The worst DC animated film
destroys
is 30 times better than Marvel. Their animation is top notch. Period. I mean, it's not even a question. But I think Flashpoint. I don't think Flashpoint's even going to happen. That's just,
Lone Wolf here with the $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. He says Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness shall set the stage for this. So I will say on the flip side of that,
makes sense. Double.
I'm excited about the Doctor Strange multiverse movie because I feel like that is the appropriate movie for that to happen in. Look, here we go. Doctor Strange. This is Omega's favorite Marvel movie, I believe, is the Doctor Strange movie.
It's one of them. Yeah, actually, Thor Ragnarok's probably my absolute favorite, but it's like number 2 or 3.
So this makes sense to me. Scarlet Witch is going to be a part of this movie, and we know that it is going to be big on exploring the idea of the multiverse and going deeper into that. And this is a movie where I have no problems with this. I feel like this is absolutely the franchise that they should be doing this in, is the Doctor Strange franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add to that, Omega? Because again, you love this character. Any thoughts on this?
I was kind of hoping they would do more of Dormammu, because I would be really interested in seeing what they actually do with that character, because in the comics he's kind of mad, but after seeing him on the screen, it's like, holy crap, he looks dope. And apparently, at the time, rumor was that he was supposed to be the next big bad after
that would have made sense.
Yeah. So I think the Doctor Strange movie was a great film. I think that
the villain was
literally that I was getting ready to say, I think that they threw one of his biggest villains at the film, right? And then gave him the time stone out the gate to set up for Avengers. His movie literally is setting up multiverse and set up the Avengers. And so now that kind of hurts Doctor Strange, because now what bad guy are you going to throw at him right now that's not like Avengers level?
Well, we know Mordo
is
supposed to come back.
Mordo's still out there.
So, I mean, I know.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of cool. But I love Doctor Strange. I actually like Benedict. I think that
Cumberbatch.
I think that's a perfect freaking casting.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks like him.
But I do think that the villain, I think Dormammu should have been more like, obviously he couldn't have been beaten at any other time at that point. So that was the only way he could beat him, and it's super funny.
What a huge villain to introduce in the first movie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's out there, and he was just kind of beat by Doctor Strange, and it's like, okay, now what? And then he goes up against Thanos. And keep in mind, in the Infinity War film,
I came to bargain.
Yeah, but Strange, if you go back and watch, went toe to toe with him with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I mean, they went toe to toe, so it's not like he's a slouch. So it's like, man, you got to really land at home in this next film.
Yeah. Next question from Zazman Reviews with a $5 super chat. 2 questions. Okay. Are you getting a PS5, either of you? And least favorite Barry moment? Side note, Thunderbolt was cast on Stargirl season 2. Yeah, I'm excited. So I will say this. I'm probably going to get a PS5. I'm not going to get it right away. Like, it's not something that I'm getting immediately, but I will be getting it eventually. I still use my PS4 very often, so I don't know.
I barely play this thing. I'm not getting it till like maybe 2023.
Okay. And
I'll get
Cyber,
one, but not now.
So my birthday's Saturday for anybody in the chat. I want a PS5. I wanted it when it came out. For those who don't, I've only been on this channel a few times over at Twitch. We talk about it frequently. I'm currently on FMLA.
We covered the reveal.
Yeah, I did that live event, and I can't get one right now. I would love to have one. I can't get one physically because, I would say I can't get one. Oh yeah, I want one of those too. I can't get one of those because you can't really get your hands on one. And 2, right now, I literally can't afford it. But as soon as I'm able to, yes, I will be getting a PS5. 100%. I will be streaming PS5 content as soon as I get one. So there you go.
So as far as least favorite Barry moment, I know that Omega doesn't really watch the Flash show, but I will say Drunk Barry probably, because it just was silly to me. I didn't really like Drunk Barry Allen. That's
least favorite Barry moment?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I know people love Drunk Barry. I just hate it. I have a problem with characters acting out of character. Just, I don't know. Bugs me.
Least favorite Barry moment. There's so many times in the show. It's going to be hard to pick one out right now just because this wasn't a topic, so I don't have it researched memory-wise. But there's so many times in that show where, for plot purposes, they make him make dumb decisions that are out of character. And those are my least favorite moments, because you take the character and you take them out of their element, Legends, just so that way you can push your narrative forward. And if it makes sense, I'm okay with that. But most of the time it's like, are you
basically anytime something is plot over character, I will hate it, most likely. I don't like
and that's not just Barry, that's literally any character on any series. When you do something that's out of character, Endgame, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like that, my immersion. What is it? The hoops of deniability, you call it?
That's what I call it. There's only so many that I can jump through before I start.
And so after a while, I'm like, you get so many in a show, and you get very less. I'll give you a couple. Like there's a couple of them where I'm like, okay, I'll excuse those. But once it becomes something where I'm just endlessly jumping through hoops, I'm just like, I'm done. Yeah. As far as Thunderbolt, so the comedian Jim Gaffigan, I believe, is who was cast as Thunderbolt. Yeah, on Stargirl. So he's going to be playing the Thunderbolt character, which is a pink, like genie type character. Okay.
Yeah, so
he's funny.
It's gonna be interesting. So let's see. We got another super chat. I want to get through the super chats before we take our moment to was that the last one? I think that was the last one. Yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna, while you're looking that up, I'm going to run my thank you for my Team Eric members. This is for you guys. If your name is not on this list, I update it weekly. So if it's not here, then it'll be here next week. So I do them once a week at the beginning of the week. So, but anyway, here you go. This is for you guys. Thank you so much for your support. We'll be back in like 30 seconds. All right. I hate that it ends that way. I guess the clip cuts off there. I have to fix it next time. Anyway, that's Stream Beats, by the way. That beat is from Stream Beats. So I love Beats. So good. Stream
Beats, Harris Heller. Go let's do it if you stream. It's great music.
So look, this is interesting. Introverted Unicorn here says a lot of the shows on the CW sacrifice good writing for soap opera drama. It's so bad. That's and you said it right there. CW. It's just like Freeform, just like any of those networks. It goes for a demographic where they think that everybody wants everything to be like a young adult novel, and I don't think that's.
I blame a lot of the writers that come over are usually from soap operas.
Yeah,
a lot of them are usually from soap operas. Like you'll get the episodes that are written by like Ken Smith, but it's not a lot of them. The fluff in the middle, the filler episodes, are usually written by that, and I'm like. I watch the shows because I enjoy them. Like I'm going to watch Supernatural, which only has like 2 more episodes left. But after this, but they fell victim to that a lot too, where it was like,
So if you want to be, and if you're not familiar with anime, let's talk about anime for just a brief moment. If you're not familiar with anime,
okay,
and you complain about filler episodes on shows.
Oh gosh,
you don't know the pain of filler anime. You don't know.
To give an example.
Yeah, go ahead.
To give an example, right? For those who don't know, was a show called Naruto, right? Now,
bad, don't watch it.
Oh,
there's the paper version, the manga, right? That you could read every week, that kept going every week, and it would get further ahead than the anime because obviously in the anime they have to animate it. Then somebody has to do voice acting for it and such. The book would be so far ahead, right? Well, the show got to a certain point where they were going to age the students in Naruto up to teenagers and then finish the story. Okay. In Japan, it seems like they don't run. I don't know this for fact. I don't know. Someone else can correct me, but they don't run reruns. Right. So since they have no substance, they literally just create episodes that have no bearing on anything. And they come out week after week. Sometimes you wait a couple weeks. For an entire year until they aged the Naruto characters. It was all filler. It was a year of shows, of episodes that literally meant nothing. Nothing that happened in that carried over to the next episode, and nothing that happened in that was referenced when the show came back. So a whole year of you get to watching the show. It's not a rerun, but it's not good. And it almost killed it. It was so long of filler episodes.
I'm going to say this, like I'm watching Bleach back again. It's like one of my favorite animes. And look, of course, Omega's like, ugh. I'm watching it back now. And Bleach has some of the worst pacing for filler because right in the middle of like a major story arc, it deviates for a 30 episode filler that chronologically doesn't even fit in anywhere. in the series. Like, you can't put it after the filler. Like, you can't go, okay, I'll come back and watch those 30 episodes at the end of this story arc or whatever. It literally chronologically doesn't make sense. I get it that the films don't, because a lot of anime cartoons release films that don't necessarily tie in to the series. Like Dragon Ball has movies like that. But, and I don't mind that, because you know that's what it is. You're like, okay, it just takes place in this world at a point in time or whatever. But yeah, with Bleach, it's like it diverts for like, 30 episodes here and there. And then in one of the arcs, it diverts for like 2 episodes, and then it comes back. And I'm like, so filler on live action shows for me is less painful than anything I ever watched in anime, because anime filler just goes on and goes on and goes on. And it's just,
it is less.
I don't know any
painful.
anime that doesn't have filler. Is there any one that actually doesn't have filler? I feel like all of them do.
I would say the earlier animes, probably pre-Dragon Ball,
like
did not have filler.
Like
they,
well, my personal favorite, Gogol 13, it's just it's mostly episodic, so it's you
that's what I'm saying. Their stories were pretty much written and finished before the anime was done. The Shonen Jump ones and Dragon Ball and stuff is constantly ongoing, like One Piece. Constantly ongoing. So it
is Attack on Titan. Does that have filler or not? I don't think it does.
No, that one's written out as well. That one's written out in advance.
Episodes,
yeah. So Laura here goes, do you think any of the Arrowverse shows will have too many filler episodes since they're getting less episodes? So one of the things I love about shortened seasons is less filler. Like, if you have a show that's getting 13 episodes, so this is one of the things, and I think network TV will probably start following this at some point. When you have a show that has like 20 to 23 episodes, it is bound to have episodes that are going to be filler. It's going to. When you have a show that has 10 to 13 episodes, some of that dialogue, some of the stuff within the episode might be a bit fillerish, but you're not going to see a full episode that just doesn't matter. Very rarely is that going to happen.
Is that I know we're like way off topic, but is that like budget wise? Like, do they, so I know if they have 22 episodes, they have less per episode to use, right? Yes. Wouldn't it make more sense to shorten it down to double the budget? Or is it because CW and shows like that stretch it out so far? They have to have 22 out.
Okay, so
because they have nothing else to put in its place.
Well, it's the old model of TV. If you see a lot of the newer shows, they're getting, like, for example, this upcoming season, Superman and Lois, they're getting like 14 episodes, right. The Stargirl season 2 is getting like 13 episodes. They're getting shorter seasons. But the reason why they do drag out some of the shows like The Flash is for advertising revenue. They make more money off the shows if it's on for a longer amount of time. And that's why Supernatural is the same way. Like, they get a full season. If you sell a full season of 23 episodes to any kind of streaming service, they're going to pay more for it than they would for a shorter amount. And the reason why the filler episodes are so hard to like get past is because when you have a team of writers writing like the main story, they're writing like 10 episodes of the season. And then you go, you know what? The B team gets 5 episodes and the C team gets 4 episodes. Right. So you end up with episodes that don't always make sense because they just need to have episodes to fill in space. So they'll do the whole episode and then the A team will come in and they'll go, okay, the last 30 seconds, we need this scene to happen to set up the important stuff that's going to happen in the next episode. Right. So that's why that happens. And it's unfortunate because it does pull away from, the quality of the shows, here and there. Oh, we got Paigey in the house with $2 from Australia. How much is that? Is that in American money? How much is that? I don't know. Maybe it's $5. Can we get a twerk off? If not, maybe a dab. We could do I'll do a dab. So you get a dab from me. Here we go.
No, I'm twerking. Fuck it.
Oh, look, there we go. Not a twerk off, but we get a twerk from Omega. So
what just happened?
I don't know.
I'm not even going to comment on that one, but that is probably going to get screen captured and put all over Twitter.
What just happened?
There we go.
My eyes.
Let's move on to the next.
Close your
topic.
eyes.
Let's close that whole window.
So we're going to talk about the movie that Syberninja thinks is not going to happen, which is the Flashpoint movie.
Yes,
and he's under the belief that we're not going to see this film. It's never going to come out. Okay. And this is the movie that everybody keeps referencing as the one that Marvel or Sony is copying, because the Flashpoint movie it is what I like to call the hot potato movie. It has been bounced around between so many people, so many writers, so many creative teams, so many ideas, and we keep coming back to the idea of Flashpoint. And I almost feel like at this point, the Flashpoint is a buzz term that they're using now, because the animated film Flashpoint Paradox is, in my opinion, the definitive Flashpoint if you want to watch it and you don't want to read comics, right? So it's a definitive like idea of what Flashpoint is. The Flashpoint TV version, although it worked within that world, it was very disappointing, and it was not truly what I consider to be what Flashpoint should have been. This
Flashpoint
movie
should have been like Crisis, in my opinion.
Right.
Should have been huge.
So this movie, now we know we're getting Michael Keaton as Batman, and it's going to be connected to the 1989 Batman universe, which, by the way, I read earlier that the Batman film universe from 1989, the 4 movies that came out from that era, Batman and Batman Returns are not canonically connected to Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Yes, because there was a lot of problems. Like they're saying, if you go back and you watch all 4 of those movies together, like you watch them in a straight shot, there are a lot of issues chronologically with what happens in the final 2 films compared to what happens in the first 2 films.
I can see that.
And they're saying that you can also tell that they were trying to milk that world by continuously pumping out films, which is why we got the 4th movie as well. Yeah. So people are saying that maybe the Flashpoint movie will correct that chronological error between the Batman movies, which I think is interesting. But here's the thing. Now Brandon Routh, who plays played the Atom in the Arrowverse from Legends of Tomorrow, and played Superman in Superman Returns, and also reprised that role as Kingdom Come Superman in the Crisis event. There's a statement here from him, and let me read this, and then we'll get your opinions on it. He goes, can we? I mean, yeah, I think it's always a possibility. Of course, they're bringing back Michael Keaton, which I'm excited about, and some other people from the past DC projects. I think it's very exciting. It worked really well in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I was extremely proud and honored to be part of it and to reprise my Superman. So it's absolutely a possibility. You can do anything. Everybody lives and dies at a time in those things. So to me, this sounds like he's saying he's open for the chance to come back as Superman. But there's not much talk going on about it, unless this is him throwing a hint out there. Do you think there's any chance under the sun that we would see Brandon Routh play Superman in the Flashpoint movie, if it actually happens, if the movie actually happens? Thoughts on this?
No. Okay, look. If the Flashpoint movie comes out, Michael Keaton being in the film is cool, right? But here's what this is telling me. And I'm going to go back to Spider-Man. When you start throwing names out there that did previous films, previous work, previous quote unquote success stories, saying, look who I got. Look, I got a Toneberry coming in my film, right? Oh, you can't see him?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Chroma keyed out.
He's chroma keyed out. Anyway, be like, oh, this is coming into my film. Come look at this film. It's going to be great, right? It can't be wrong if you have Batman in, right? No, I don't need to see that. It's cool you have him casted, or at least Keaton, if he is casted. And if it is going to be that, we talked about this briefly, I would like it to be the Batman Returns version of Batman, the older Batman with the younger up-and-comer with the, in my opinion, really good storyline. I love Batman Beyond. And then you can build off of that with Ezra Miller's Flash, and to have future films to have this Keaton and this one-off. Mm. But why would you need Brandon Routh? You don't need him. You don't need him.
Unless they're trying to reboot Superman in the DC film universe. Like if they wanted to go back to his version.
Why would you use him? Why would you use him?
Well, I mean, I think they're saying to continue the Kingdom Come Superman storyline is what everybody wants. Yeah. They want.
No, they don't.
So Ezra Miller is playing the Flash in this.
Yes.
In his mind.
I'm done. No, not interested. I hated him in Batman versus Superman. I hate him in BVS.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It's not happening. Guys, look. It's not happening. It's not happening, guys.
If this happens,
if this comes out, Flash, it's going straight to VHS tape.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's going straight. VHS. It's not going anywhere. This film's not coming out. Look, I'm not saying other people can't play the Flash. I'm not saying other people can't play Barry Allen.
Yeah, they can.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying they can. He can't.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I wanted to.
He can't. If there's Ezra Miller fans in the chat, I'm sorry. He ain't it.
Why? Why are you fans of him?
His version of the Flash is awful.
I'm sure
it's not coming out.
That's not fair. I'm sure.
You mean you didn't like the running special effects in Justice League?
No, he's awful.
God,
so you did
bad.
You did hear that he did that because he wanted to look like somebody skiing. That was the impression he wanted to give, and I'm like,
okay, you're about to make me cuss, and I don't want to cuss on your stream. But
no, he's bad.
Since when did the Flash ski?
I don't know.
Look, dude, it doesn't matter.
No. Here's what you do: get the guy who plays A-Train and just let him just be A-Train in the Flash movie. That'll be much better than Ezra Miller.
What was the other guy? Wait, who was the other speedster? It was A-Train, and what was the other one? The other guy. I think he could play another Flash too. So we could have A-Train and the other guy, part of the Flash family.
He could do better Flash. Jesus.
Here's my thing, right? In the CW show, we've had 4,000 speedsters. The only one that I didn't like, oh my god, I can't think of his name right now. It was in Flashpoint. Which one was it? Had the black with the red flames on the suit. Which one was it?
The Rival?
Yeah, okay. Him was like the only one that I didn't like. All the other ones actually do good speedsters. Ezra Miller might be a phenomenal actor in other roles.
Yeah,
he might be able to play another role in another version of a superhero film.
Yeah.
However, he is not Flash. It is awful. And if you're going to sit here and tell me they're going to bring in these roles that already did films, right? To what? Reboot the franchise to have them do future films off of this film? Nah, it ain't coming out, fam. It ain't coming out.
It's like a bad cave. Oh, shut up.
It's not coming out.
So here we go. Victor here with the 499 super chat and a member of Team Eric. Thank you so much. He goes, is the Flash movie done? Is it made to reboot all the DC movies that have come out so DC can start all over again? That is kind of so I will say that I feel like that's what they're trying to do. I mean, the only movies so let's be fair here, right? The only movies that the theatrical cut cares about are Wonder Woman and Aquaman. To be honest, I mean, they don't seem to care about the BVS. They don't care about the Man of Steel movie. They're trying to, I guess, do something with Justice League, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Great, though. So, what now?
I heard Man of Steel was great, though. Well, my brother,
Man of Steel
was all over that game.
Here's the thing:
we did a Does It Hold Up of Man of Steel, and it's still a really, really good movie.
It is a really good movie.
I still haven't seen it.
I think Henry Cavill is a fantastic Superman. I had my problems with the film for as far as whether or not it holds up, but as far as like Superman, I don't take him away from being Superman unless he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
he's a good Superman.
Yeah, and I like Brandon Routh as Superman, but what sense does it make to change that continuity now? Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. The thing is, we don't even know what's going to happen with Batman, to be fair, because we know that Ben Affleck is coming back to this film to be Batman in the Flash movie, but
what Flash movie?
But I mean, what are we going to do
Flash
with that
movie coming out?
So if we could see like something crazy like that, I think it would be fine. I would not be surprised if they're rebooting everything, though. It doesn't make any sense at all.
They have to reboot it because they have to, but then it ruins the other actors. And then if they have to make those actors interact with other actors, even though they had experiences with them in other films, and they have to pretend like no, stop. No, it's not coming out, guys.
So
it's not coming out. If it does, it's gonna make things worse.
Get Grant Gustin as the Flash for the movie. The problem is Grant Gustin being the movie Flash would ruin the idea of the multiverse. They would have to bring him in just to be the Flash for the movie. We actually asked that question at DragonCon, didn't we? Where we didn't, but someone else did, and they did a very good explanation as to why the CW's TV versions of them,
they did,
should not be in the films.
Yeah,
and after they said it, which I can't remember now, but at the time when they said it, I was like, okay, I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. Yeah. I would like Grant Gustin on the big screen, but they made a good argument as to why it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't have been Ezra Miller.
Page here says BVS underperformed. Actually, it should have been a 1.5 billion movie. It made around 900 million. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Batman versus Superman. Icons.
You guys want to early BVS? Does it hold up from me?
No spoilers. No, it doesn't.
I'll be honest with you. Like these movies, and the thing that I think is kind of crazy is the idea of the Snyder Cut, and we might even talk about that now since we're kind of moving out of the territory of this. The idea of the Snyder Cut and the movement pushing them to make that movie, if the amount of people that say that those movies are that good actually went out and spent money to watch the films, they would be $1 billion movie. I don't understand why they weren't making that money. And it doesn't even have anything to do with the quality of the movie after the fact. we're talking about like opening weekend numbers. Like it should have been, people should have been there supporting it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand, honestly, what the problem was. It was almost like people went into it having a chip on their shoulder about the films, which is weird because so many people say they support him and that he's got this artistic vision. And I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying this from the people that supported him, they should have been billion-dollar movies, honestly. I mean, here we go. Victor, this is directly for Omega.
No, that was him.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
Cyber, why do you feel it's not coming out? Can you give your thoughts?
So here's the thing, right? Ezra Miller wanted to do the Flash film. I'm pretty sure he's the one that wanted to write it as well. They had multiple writers, multiple people backing the film, and then there was so much controversy around, I guess, the direction they wanted to take it, that the movie got completely scrapped. And now they're piecing it back together, and there's no indication that they're all going to magically work together now. I firmly believe this movie is not coming out, and if it does, it is going to be a disaster. It's not coming out. I will eat. I'm not going to say that.
He's thinking of something. He's like, what will I eat? What will I?
It's not coming out. The closer it gets, if there's like a trailer, right? A trailer. Look how long New Mutants had a trailer, and that film was finished.
Yeah,
this movie's not coming out. It's not coming out. It's just not coming out.
Let's move over and talk about the Snyder Cut. We're in bonus territory here. So speaking of the Justice League movie, which we all agree what didn't live up to, I guess, what it should have been. Even people that love the franchise felt like that fell very short of what the actual vision of that movie. Because keep in mind, it was supposed to be two movies. It was supposed to be their in-game Affinity War combo of their characters. I have a lot of issues with the timing of it. They really didn't work up to that film, honestly. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Like I always told you guys, it's like they tried to do what Marvel did, but without doing what Marvel did.
That's why I was saying earlier, like I wasn't trying to make Double Crit feel bad for his comment because I think it was a great statement. But when they were saying that, he made a better point in the chat. But DC wanted that money. They wanted that Marvel money, and they felt like if they tried to push it out further, they might not have gotten it. They were trying to cash in. They weren't trying. I'm sorry, guys. They weren't trying to make a quality product for you to go watch. They were trying to make a business. They were trying to make money. Those characters had zero substance. They had zero story. They had zero chemistry. It was awful. And it's not the actor's fault. It's not the actor's fault. It's the writers, and it's the fact that they didn't put the time into it that they deserved. Because there's no reason on this planet Justice League shouldn't have performed just as well as Avengers. Considering Justice League, in my opinion, growing up, were a bigger entity than Avengers.
Well, everybody joked about Marvel having the C-listers. That was the big.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Avengers were like a C-list. Were a C-list comics group. Like Marvel's A-list was X-Men and Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. That was their A-list. Avengers was like B or C.
Right. And for those who liked those films,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Who the heck knows about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Right.
Amazing movie.
But see, for me, like I know people enjoyed the Justice League and BVS movies, right? And that's fine if you enjoyed them.
I think more people enjoy BVS than they do Justice League. I think it's pretty well established.
But I feel like just because something is watchable doesn't mean it deserves praise.
Yeah.
I watched it, and I've seen BVS and Justice League on another occasion, not from start to finish, but like if it's on TV or something and I have it in the background, it's watchable. Justice League shouldn't be watchable. It should be go out and see this. It should be don't miss this. It shouldn't be. Yeah,
the buzz around Justice League should have been as high as it was for the Avengers, if not higher. Honestly,
absolutely.
So Pagey here says, and this is interesting. I hadn't thought about this. He goes, Ezra calls the Spider-Man Homecoming writers who came in to make the Flash movie to leave because he kept wanting darker rewrites. I think he's talking about the Zack Snyder vision for the film. Not everything has to be dark.
Yeah, the Flash is the dark character.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what I'm saying, guys. That's what it's not coming out. It's just not coming out.
So the Snyder Cut is coming to HBO Max, and it's going to be a 4-part, I guess, miniseries. It's actually 4 hours of movie now. And I will say I'm very curious because there's so many people that say that the Zack Snyder version is so much better than the theatrical version. And, I guess it's based on just their hopes for it, because obviously no one's actually seen, or the people that are saying it haven't actually seen the Snyder cut of Justice League, so to speak. So do you think, based on what we got theatrically for the Justice League movie, is there any chance that the 4-hour original vision for it will not be as good? Because that's setting a very low bar, because I feel like the Justice League movie was very cookie cutter. It was very much like, we need to make a superhero movie kind of thing.
If Justice League movie, I believe it was a 4 out of 10 for me. It was just below average, right? If the Snyder cut filled in a couple plot holes, if it gave a little bit more chemistry to these characters, right? You make it a 6? Even if you double the score for me, you get an 8, which is great. No, I honestly feel like what he's doing with these reshoots is going back to fix the problems people have with the film, so they can say he did a good job.
Yeah, and before I'll let you speak here in a second, Omega, but I just want to add on to what he was saying there is, the chances of it being worse are highly unlikely. So
if you have to bring the actors back to do a reshoot, guess what, guys? That means it wasn't in the film.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
It's not a Snyder cut. It's a Snyder film. It's a new film.
Yeah.
Adding parts.
Only thing I was about to say.
I could be wrong, by the way.
Only thing, it's like, what is the parts that they're added in is going to make the movie better. It's like, okay, yes, everybody will say like, oh yeah, this movie was great. They should have let this in to begin with. But it's like, no, you're going from like you said, a 4 to like a 6. The movie was, you going from like bad to, hey, it's all right.
That movie cost what, $500 million to make? What was it?
You got Ghost in your house, Omega?
Probably.
So here's the thing. We're talking about a possible... oh, no.
It's $300 million, guys. $300 million. And you get a 4 out of me?
Yeah. Also, Jared Leto's Joker's coming back. Like... They're bringing So they're bringing back in. So let me just reiterate this. Who's coming back? Jared Leto's Joker's coming back. They're bringing in Deathstroke, who was in the end credits for.
Who I liked, by the way. If there's one thing I liked out of that film, I think that Joe was phenomenal.
Yeah. So they're bringing him back, and they're bringing in like basically everybody involved with the original movie for complete reshoot.
You guys liked Lex? Hold on a minute. You guys like Lex?
Wait. Who said I like?
No.
Lex?
I'm asking if you like the film. You like Lex?
Yeah, that was like my least favorite thing about that whole movie.
Garbage.
Yeah,
come on. Eating Jolly Ranch. Stop. Product placement,
Jolly
right?
Ranch. No. The bottle of pee. Remember that?
Was it the peach?
Everybody likes Bojangles sweet tea. This delicious Bojangles sweet tea here.
Oh man!
No, guys, no.
I will say this:
I'm passionate. No,
let's think like all the versions of Lex we've had. Like we've had several versions now. I think it's really hard for anyone to be a better Lex than Michael Rosenbaum.
Oh, and here's the thing. I agree with that. Here's the. When you compare a TV role to a movie role, it's kind of not fair because he grew into that role. He eventually molded it into his own. He had time to do it. He had 9 seasons or whatever. So I agree. That is my favorite Lex, but I spent the most time with that Lex. When you have to make a presence in a film, you need to make that presence early. You need to make it, well known that you are the bad guy. And this one, I was just like, why does this guy? No, come on. Let's just move on.
I mean, in Supergirl, John Cryer is a really good Lex Luthor too, as well. I don't know
by the way, you were saying John Cryer. Oh yeah, no, he is good. Again, TV role,
but still better than Jesse Eisenberg's.
Joe though was a great thing. Him coming back, that's fine. Jared Leto coming back. Look, guys, I clearly I'm giving people a bad rap.
The question is, where's Jared Leto going to fit in this movie? Please explain to me where he's going to fit in the Justice League movie.
He didn't fit in the Suicide Squad movie, and it wasn't him. Again, it's writers. That Joker could have worked if it was just written a little bit better. And I was
one of the people that did not immediately hate that Joker. I didn't immediately hate it. A lot of people did.
I actually like Jared Leto Joker. I
thought he's just not better than the other ones, right?
No, not at all.
He's not. If you put him on a tier list, clearly he's at the bottom. But at the same time, throughout that entire film, there was this reference to him being so dope and so evil. And then when you watched him in the film, it was just kind of like he's just a mob boss.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make him bad. They set expectations that the characters wasn't written to show. Right. So if it shows that in this other cut, I mean, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. Anthony says he would show up in the nightmare scenes, and that's fine. But I mean, is that any reason to really bring him back for the, like, you could do those scenes without him? I think they're doing that just to show you why, because we never understood why this Batman was the way he was. Yeah. You don't know that he killed Robin and all that. So I'm fine with that, guys.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm looking forward to the Snyder cut because I just want to see if they fill in the gaps that I didn't like. But again, you can't make this film that much better with the raw material that's there. You would have to redo the entire film. And most of this film is Snyder's vision. It's just chopped up and put in some of Whedon's, humor, I guess. Yeah. It's not going to be that much better. If you liked the film, you're still going to like it. If you didn't like the film, maybe you will. It's not going to be an exciting
I'm not
role.
defending Justice League at all with this, but I will throw this out there, and it's just food for thought, right? Look at Joss Whedon's films and TV shows, right? He has a very specific style in the way he makes things, and there's always humor in it. It could be action, but there's always some bit of humor in it. The MCU, as we built up to the Avengers movie, was dropping in some of that tonally. Whereas in the DCEU, our lead up to the Justice League was very much Zack Snyder's vision, which is devoid of humor. It's a very realistic, grounded world where big things are happening. And I will also say that in a lot of ways, Zack Snyder is a more sophisticated Michael Bay. Like, visually, you get everything you want from these movies.
I would agree with that.
But I think Zack Snyder is a better storyteller in a lot of ways than Michael Bay is. I'm not a huge Michael Bay fan, to be honest. I think Michael Bay
I like his special effects.
Yeah.
Some of them.
But if you look at that and you think about Joss Whedon, where does that road connect?
They're two completely different.
It doesn't really connect.
Styles.
So if you were going to bring in a director to take over for what Zack Snyder wanted from Justice League, why would you pick someone so completely polar opposite to what that is?
I can tell you why right now. What franchise was he a part of?
Yeah, the MCU. Absolutely.
And what did I say at the beginning?
Right.
Why are they doing it?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, but what I'm saying
though is this is why it didn't work. That's why it didn't work, though, because there was no way to bring in Joss Whedon into that world and expect to get good results out of that. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that I knew there was a problem from the get-go. Like, I knew we were in for issues. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm excited for the Snyder Cut because I want to see what they're going to do to try and fix it, and whether or not that's going to allow them to set up any possible spinoffs from this at all. And who knows, do they want to keep Zack Snyder around in case they want to use him in another DCEU film? I mean,
I think what they'll do is they're going to wait for the success of the Snyder Cut to see what it does for the franchise, see how much money they lose after the reshoots, because it's going to lose money.
So, Omega, what was your favorite DC film out of the latest movies? Like, if you had to pick one, which one did you like the most? Because you said
Woman.
I would agree with that. Wonder Woman.
Except the last maybe 15 minutes of Wonder Woman. But
I forgot about the end. I forgot about the ending.
Rest of the movie was great. The ending.
So, I would say my favorite still is Man of Steel, and then my close second would be Wonder Woman.
Man of Steel, yes.
And then Aquaman. I think Aquaman is a fun action movie. I don't think it's a great story, but it's a fun action movie. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah. Well, that's indefinitely pushed back. We don't know when that's going to happen now, apparently. It's off the slate. Which, by the way, right before we went live, the Ryan Reynolds movie that was supposed to come out in December is now indefinitely on hold. Free Guy, I think is the name of it. The one where he plays the NPC.
I thought it looked pretty good, but
it does. But now it's off the slate.
Imagine that, a film that's almost finished. Do you still think Ezra Miller's is coming out?
Yeah. I'm expecting Matrix 4 to get delayed next, and then probably Wonder Woman, because those are the other two big movies that were supposed to come out in December, unless they strike some sort of deal with streaming, which we talked about that briefly, where they wanted to do something where movies come out for a couple weeks and then they come out on VOD. I don't know if we're going to see anything like that before the end of the year, though. I think that first we would see of that is going to be beginning of 2021, if we had to look forward to that. So anyway, I guess that's where we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the weekly, again, I'm going to have to come up with a better name for that. Weekly Geekly Podcast Roundup live stream roundup. All of
it keeps going. It keeps going.
It's just long. Yeah. By next week, I'll have a better like shorter name for it. So we'll see. Anyway, Syberninja, tell them all about you, and your info is going to be in the info box, but give them a quick rundown.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen me before, I stream over at twitch.tv/Syberninja with an S. It is my name, like right in this little area right here. And what we do over there is we stream video games. We are going to start doing a weekly podcast like we do over here, only with different people over there. And that'll be heavily more geared towards video games and probably anime. So if you like that kind of stuff, give us a follow over there. We're going to start that up next week. And I do have a 24-hour stream coming, guys. It's in the works. I'm trying to get my time right, because that's a long time to stream, and I'm not very young. So trying to get the ducks in a row for that, but that is coming very soon. And for those of you who are here to listen to Marvel now, if you're interested in Marvel content, Fortnite right now doing the Marvel crossover. I'm not saying you have to play the game. However, they're going to do a live event. The season ends on December 3rd. I don't know when the live event is 100% yet, but I will 100% be streaming it. So if you don't want to play it, but you want to see what happens, come watch me live over there, and you guys can check it out. It's supposed to be massive. Galactus is coming to Fortnite's island, and he's almost there, and the Avengers are there to fight him off alongside you, the Fortnite guy, and it's going to be amazing. A lot of the leakers said they're not going to leak the information early because it's supposed to be such a huge event, and the creator of the game came out and said that this is just the start of the Marvel content with Fortnite. So if you like Marvel content, again, if you don't play the game, you can come over there and watch me play it, or see the streams as they're uploaded over here on YouTube, Syberninja with an S, and stop by and say hi. I enjoy the conversation. It's going to be great, and the live stream is going to be amazing when they do the event.
And all of his links are in the info box below. Next up, Omega.
Thank you, Potato Man. Appreciate it.
Hey, yes, I am on Twitch also at Omega Weltall /twitch.tv, but there's no space in the middle. I'm also on DeviantArt, same name, no space, where I make 3D artwork with DAZ Studio, iRay, and stuff like that. I am messing around with Blender a little bit. I am still trying to learn Blender, but yeah, if you want to see some 3D waifus, go to
keep it real.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is what it is, guys.
Yeah, go there. Also, I did stream a little bit of Doom Eternal's DLC not too long ago, and I may be doing a little bit more of Phantasy Star 1.
Sounds good.
Also, he frequents my stream quite often.
Yeah, you'll see me trolling his chat.
Quinlan here with the 199 super chat goes, I love the Flash opinion. Cyberninja, I agree. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I see. Look at that. That's a comment right there. Pin it.
So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. All of their links are going to be down below. I keep switching spots around here. I make it very confusing. Anyway, all the links are going to be down below. You can join us every single Thursday for the podcast here, 7 Eastern time. So wherever that is in your part of the world is where we're going to be. Next week, who knows what the topics are going to be? Maybe something related to the Mandalorian.
Ooh.
Maybe some Star Trek Discovery stuff. We'll have to see where things go. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. And you can watch this on playback on my YouTube. It'll be available there. And thank you so much. We will see you next time.